You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Bro Down Podcast. I'm Andy Smith.
And I'm Tim Fulton.
And this episode of What Do You Got?
Yeah, a little special episode of What Do You Got, since there was no UFC fight this week.
Yeah.
We're coming at you with a little bit extra. And we are going to be talking about youth sports training or training programs, the whole shebang.
Yeah, when I came up with this kind of topic, my kind of question, whatever thing, is like, do you think that kids in general in most schools, when they are put into sports, and then at the level when they start getting told to do things outside of sports, like if they're in, say, football or wrestling in high school level, it's not just you go to practice, like they expect you to do things outside of practice as well. And they usually have some kind of coaching in there as well. But do you think that, and I don't want to say that the kids are pushed too fast or pushed too hard.
Yeah.
But do you think that on a whole, there's a lack of education and a lack of development when it comes to having the right people around to teach them proper techniques? Because if you're a wrestling coach, that doesn't necessarily make you a strength and conditioning coach.
No, that's true. So I am going to talk about this from a wrestling perspective and background because that's what I know.
Yeah.
And there are guys who they have year-round training programs, right, for wrestling. And the elite wrestlers do them as early.
Yeah.
So you would have someone who's in 6th or 7th grade doing these year-round training programs, and they really are meant for guys who, like you can tell when they have that spark of athleticism.
Or their fathers were wrestlers, or their fathers are crazy.
Yeah, so I go both ways on this. Going like way further back young, I say kids in sports in general is a fantastic idea, especially when you keep things fun, because it does teach you basic discipline. It teaches you time management. As stupid as that sounds, because if you only have X amount of hours in a day, yeah, you're in 3rd grade, but you do have to learn how to juggle. All right, I have wrestling practice tonight, but I have to get homework done.
Yeah.
It does teach you little things like that.
Yeah.
And you learn consequences of your actions and all that good stuff. But when you start doing year-round things at an early age, like 6th grade, 7th grade, and people are telling you need to wrestle year-round, you need to learn strength and conditioning and all this other stuff, I think it can lead to, I think in general it's good to teach and to keep kids up to par with other kids, but I think it can lead to burnout, especially if someone is no longer getting the type of enjoyment out of a sport that they used to. Like if someone really enjoys playing basketball because it's a fun recreational activity.
Yeah.
And then you have the over-the-top parent who's like, all right, your life is now about basketball because you're good at it and you enjoy it. Well, at a certain point, you might not enjoy it anymore. And you have to remember that these kids are young.
Yeah, so you're attacking it from the mental aspect of it. I was going more towards like the physical aspect of it.
Okay.
So, which we can go down
We can
talk
both,
about that as well.
Both play a role.
Yeah. So what I meant was, if you have a kid who's now in high school and he's playing football,
Okay.
and they're like, all right, you got to do this strength and conditioning program. You got to be at the gym all the time or whatever. And either the kids are there and they're learning from a coach who doesn't really know what he's doing in the gym, or they're unsupervised in the gym and they're doing things that kids in high school do in gyms, which is try to lift the heaviest weight and whatever. I think that I don't want to sound optimistic and pessimistic at the same time by saying how many Peyton Manning's careers are cut short, like something like that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But there is something to be said where I've seen it. I know that you've seen it, where kids are either told to train and work out or push through something that they should not be pushing through, when there's no reason to question that kid's willingness to compete or be in the game other than this specific time. If somebody's always quitting on suicides because they just don't want to do it, that's all right. Maybe this kid needs a little bit more of a push to get over this mental hump.
Yeah.
But if the person that never complains, that always shows up, plays with broken fingers, all that stuff is telling you like, coach, I hurt something, or my shoulder isn't feeling good. There should be, I think that stuff like that should be like, hey, maybe you should sit the fuck out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. At that kind of age, I think you have to see it's really weird because a lot of people are about the teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You almost forget that the teams consist of kids. Even at a high school level, these are fucking kids.
Yeah.
They're between 14 and 18. They're children, right? But like people love watching high school football.
Yeah.
They want to see the teams win. So if a player isn't playing, a good player isn't playing,
Yeah.
people get upset.
Oh, yeah.
But they're children.
Yeah.
You have to calm down. You have to put the players first.
So, question, like I think that if you're playing at see, it's hard though because a lot of kids sports and everything like that. Like I think the kids sports, meaning like probably before high school, if we're gonna play it real safe, I'd say before high school, maybe like before 6th or 7th grade. Before 7th grade, definitely, I would say. Sports should probably be mostly about fun.
100%.
Should be about fun. You're learning lessons while having fun. Doesn't mean you can just fuck off and do whatever you want and still play. But you should be able to have, it should be about fun.
Yeah, I agree.
At the high school level, the year before you go into high school is when it should start becoming about the competition.
I can agree to that.
Now, I don't mean that before that, like the everyone gets a trophy shit. I'm not talking about that. But I'm saying in general, like it shouldn't be like, you fucking missed a pass.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, dude, he's 9. Okay? He's fucking 9. I get it, but I don't get it. So around high school, and that's when I think that if you have a school, especially like a school with like a big sports program, that they should almost have somebody like as a requirement that's staffed to be like somebody that's overseeing their training program because so many people get fucked up and injured that has nothing to do with the field.
Yeah. I mean, there should be someone in the gym constantly.
Yeah.
Like, we had an actual weight room. There should be someone in the weight room constantly monitoring it.
Yeah.
And, like, there to help.
Yeah.
I think going away from sports, I think weight training should be a required course. When did gym... I remember when I was in high school...
I'm so torn on that. It's because who the... Sorry, I'll finish your thing and I'll remember.
I kind of already see where you're going with this a little bit, but I remember in high school, like, one of the gym classes was
folk dancing,
social dance. You didn't even have to change for it, which it was fun. It was a great time. We learned I still know how to do some of those dances, but I don't know how to deadlift properly. Not that everyone needs to know how to deadlift, but if you teach kids the basic concept of lifting weights from someone who is actually knowledgeable and actually understand it,
that's the problem.
Then you'll get it. That being said, high school kids are idiots. They all are.
A lot of high school teachers are idiots.
Well, yeah. I remember someone was saying that why didn't we learn about taxes and finances in high school? I hate to tell you, you did. You slacked off in the class. It was an elective. They do teach that stuff. They do. 100% they do.
Not in my high school.
Yeah, they do. I can almost guarantee they do.
If that was an option, it was not made clear that it was.
So maybe they need to make that stuff more clear, but I took a class. I took a class where I had to keep a checkbook.
The only electives that we had was computer-aided drawing, photography, home economics.
That can't be it.
Sociology.
That's weird.
Those, to my knowledge, were the only 4 electives that you were allowed to pick.
Okay.
There was no, like, basic skills. It was like you learn to bake a cake. You learn how to design something on a computer system that's 25 years old.
Yeah. Yeah.
You learn how to take pictures with a camera that's going to be useless in 5 years.
See,
or you learn about...
We had a whole thing. I remember there was a class... This is going to be a weird tangent. I swear to God, we're going to get back to actual youth sports training programs. But we had an actual class that was dedicated to finance. Excuse me. I think it was called finance. And I remember in the class, you had to pick a spouse. you got weekly income, and then you had to spend it. The teacher was like, pretend to go to budget. You have to budget. Buy a house, figure out what your mortgage is going to be, figure out what your groceries are going to be, do all this stuff, and then you have to keep a checkbook. And I remember ours was kind of funny because my buddy ended up marrying his cousin by accident. 'Cause all the names were randomly drawn.
Yeah.
And our incomes were randomly drawn too. So they were broke. Between the two of them, they were making like $500 a week.
Okay.
And my wife and I, we had a decent income. So we bought a 2-family home and they rented out the basement from us. And then like it was this, like our teacher was super impressed because she's like, that is actually a really good idea.
That's pretty
like,
funny.
Yeah, but all right, so that's a thing. But yeah, no, they should teach. I think they should teach basic health. But kids might be too stupid to recognize what they're actually learning and might slack off and be like, oh, I don't care about this stuff. And it might be too late. But they should at least try.
Well, I think that if you're going to be in a sports program,
Sorry, I've cold.
we have to have some kind of controlled basis here, right? So let's say that if we say that you have a coach, a strength and conditioning coach, we're just going to assume that they know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
they know how to teach
Yes.
kids or whatever. Because I remember one of the big things that when I went to high school was that a lot of the people that were the teachers or the coaches in the gym, like some of them were bigger guys, but you don't have to know how to lift properly to get big.
Yeah.
Like you can be big and still lift like shit.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff that they were teaching was like super advanced that they weren't really like the way I say, like you can deadlift and make it look like you know how to deadlift, but internally you're doing nothing right.
Yeah.
And you can do a hang clean that might look like a hang clean to somebody else or like regular people that's just totally fucked up. And those kind of complicated movements are...
Well, that's why I'm saying don't even worry about the super complicated ones, but like...
Deadlifting is very complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But worry about like the basic stuff. And that's why I think it should be a class.
Yeah.
Because it's... Forget the student athletes. It's important for everybody. Like,
yeah.
You have... I think one of the big issues with people going to the gym is that they're embarrassed because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So they don't want to because no one wants to go to the gym and make an ass out of themselves, myself included. There's things I won't do at the gym because I don't know how, and I'm not going to randomly like tap some guy on the shoulder and be like, hey, buddy, what does this do?
You also don't know if that guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah. So that's not going to work out, but I know a lot of what I'm doing, so I do go to the gym and I do what I know. But if you don't know anything, it can be a serious hurdle.
Yeah.
So I think that general education should be given to the public.
One of the things
kids.
that I'm like, because I previously said I was starting to read that book that was, basically said it was like the best book to read. If you're going to read one book on how to do like rehab, physical therapy, also know how to lift, it's this book. Okay. And from reading that book, one of the things that I learned is that as much as I've been working out for almost 2 decades or, close to 15 or
however long,
18 years, the things that I thought I was confident that I knew 100% how to do, I didn't.
Yeah.
And I can almost guarantee that most of the people that I know who are physical trainers don't know that stuff either. Because there's a thing about like internal mechanics versus external mechanics when you think about like doing a squat.
Yeah.
You could do a squat and not really brace your abs right.
Yeah.
And fuck up your back after a couple years. Or you could do it and brace your abs correctly. You know what I mean? Like there's certain things where
and that's the sort of thing that's hard to see.
And it's hard to teach.
Yes.
Because you can't see it. You can be like, all right, your knees are properly in the right, guideline position. So are your feet. So are this. But I can't see what's going on inside. But at the same time, when you're a kid, if there's no one to teach you, all you have to go on is, does it look like I'm doing what he's doing?
Yeah, and especially this day and age, kids are going to go on YouTube to look up this stuff. And that can be dangerous.
That can be also very helpful, though.
I mean, for certain basic idea, yeah. But like you said, something as complicated as squatting or deadlifting, when you have a lot of internal work that needs to be done.
I'll tell you, I would rather have, when I started out, I would probably rather learn stuff from YouTube than learn nothing from YouTube, than not have it.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't think it's a solid replacement for a coach,
No.
a teacher.
See, I don't know, man. I don't know, because
assuming that they are.
No, but if you know the source that you're getting it from is legit, you just always grab from that source.
Yeah.
And as long as they have a decent instructional video, if you're learning from the master themselves.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't even know what you're doing.
Well, that's the only problem, is that you can't get course correction when you're doing it.
Correct.
You have to implement what you're seeing and hope that everything is right.
Yeah, which it's not going to be.
No.
The amount of times that you're going to need an adjustment for one thing or another is there has to be an eye on you. Maybe it's as simple as doing it with a buddy. Because if two people, I can look at you and be like, you don't look like what's on the screen. I know you think you look like what's on the screen. But
yeah.
don't. But I still don't think that's the same thing as having someone.
You know what, dude? I think that we're kind of fucked. I think that you just kind of let kids fucking, whoever makes it through, makes it through. I really do, because you can have strength and conditioning and coaches and everything like that, but it's almost like all that stuff to me is stuff that you are not going to pick up unless you do extracurriculars. Like you have to go out of your way to learn that stuff, unless you live in a communist country where they put you in when you're 3.
Yeah.
But yeah,
or you're a young Jedi.
I don't know how you fix that. I don't
either. I don't, because no amount. You can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink, kind of thing. You can try, but the kids aren't going to pick them up if they don't want to pick them up. And unless they're in a serious thing, which we're talking about, those extra programs.
Yeah. I think, but how do I put this? I think the reason why it's fucked from Jump Street is, if you had to think about people that that they know how to do a workout correctly. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about they know what they're doing in the general sense. No. You can break it down to a level that almost not quite a doctor, but mechanically, you know exactly what that's doing. Yeah. Not I feel it here. You know the muscle name, you know what it's doing, you know why you're doing it. Yeah. How many people do you know off the top of your head like that?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. I'd dare to say maybe one.
Yeah.
And also on top of that, also work out and also do those movements. Now put one at every public school in America and pay him a teacher wage. You're totally fucked, right? You're going to whittle it down to a gym bro who's going to be put more plates on. It's just meatheads. It's my people.
Yeah, it's my people.
It's the worst people ever to learn how to lift from.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. We're fucked.
You're fucked. You just got to let the kids get injured. Right?
Fuck. Yeah. I still think you can have someone in the gym.
You should. Yeah. Monitoring. Maybe that's it. Maybe if you just had somebody who understood who's been in the gym long enough to understand they should not be doing that weight, or they should not be doing that exercise that heavy, and just be nope, against the rules. You are only allowed to do this weight until you are this age, or whatever.
See, I agree, but there's a problem with that too.
Yeah.
Because a bunch of guys are going to look at that and be like, this pussy over here.
Yeah, but it's a coach.
Hmm.
If you're
yeah, no, I know what you mean.
If it's I can do 135 30 times, then do it 30 times. Don't go any heavier until next year.
Yeah.
But then again, you're not going to get these fucking giants that can, these outliers that are going to just be doing it.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said for pushing kids too, though.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't want. Well,
that's what I mean.
I know.
You're taking away the injured, but you're taking away the fucking Michael Strahans and the outliers.
Yeah. It's hard to make concrete rules on these kind of things because you almost have to let these things be up to interpretation a little bit, because especially if you get a guy who knows what they're doing and they see that special spark in someone. There are coaches who just know, and they know when they can push a guy, but you have the coaches who think that they know when they can push a guy, and they're wrong.
Yeah, you also have those coaches that they want to push people because they want to have a winning team.
Yeah.
That's different. That's different than like this kid is different than every other kid I've coached, and this kid has a real shot, so I want his chances at winning to be very good. Versus like I don't give a shit if you blow your knee out. Like I want my name on the plaque in the third hallway.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's hard for even high school coaches though, because their jobs kind of depend on it. I know it's not the same thing as like NFL level coaches, but it's the same concept.
Yeah, there's
there's pressure on these coaches to get wins. I'll put it that way.
Yes.
There
definitely is.
Yeah.
But
So
it should never be at the expense of the kid.
No, I agree, but I can understand. Not that I agree with it, but I can understand why coaches would push kids a little.
Pushing is one thing, but we've all seen it taken a little to the extreme. So they're fucked. I should have thought this through. They're totally screwed. There's nothing you can do because there's nothing you can do. You have to just
I agree
hope.
with what you were saying before. Let them learn how to walk on their own, but catch them when they fall. Make sure they don't get hurt, but let them play.
Yeah, but ultimately it's up to you to figure it out.
And maybe not set it up as like a teacher, but like if you see a bunch of guys in the gym and they go to squat and you see that they're doing it wrong, jump in there and say, You guys want to squat? Let me show you. You're doing it wrong. You're going to hurt yourself.
That's a rough one, though.
Why?
That's a rough one, going up to somebody in the gym being like, you bad, me good.
Well, I'm not.
You do shitty.
I'm not saying.
I'm better.
I'm saying a coach with kids.
Oh, coach with kids.
Like
okay.
Someone supervising the gym.
Yes. Okay. I see what you're like. Massive injustices that are happening within the squat rack.
Yeah.
That you need to fix. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. That I agree with, but I think we are kind of in the Wild West period there where there's everyone just kind of has to get injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck your knees. Fix them 10 years from now. And
I thought we would have gained more ground on this one.
No, apparently
we didn't. You're on your own, Wild West. Figure it out.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. In the meantime, don't forget to get all your cool gym gear at brodownpro.com. It'll help you with your squat rack.
At least if it doesn't, you will look kind of cool doing it.
You will. No one fucks
Turn
with the
some heads,
T-flex.
either from your shitty form or your t-shirt.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking